Hello. Welcome back to Carl's Off the Grid. It's good to see you guys. Hope you had a great week. I had a fantastic week. Came up with a new toy for this week's episode of Carl Off the Grid. If you can't tell, I did a little bartering with an older gentleman, Senior Master Sergeant Bob Maynard, who I'd like to thank him for his service, and I'd like to especially thank him for this neat gift that he gave me. In a barter, I got this new shotgun shell reloader. Well, it's new to me. It has a few miles on it. And I thought, well, this is pretty cool. You know, how many of the guys ever show you any of this type of stuff on their YouTube channels? When you're talking about being self-reliant and living off the grid, usually you don't think about loading shotgun shells. And I thought, oh, maybe there's be a couple people out there that might enjoy a video showing how shotgun shells are reloaded. So instead of being outside and freezing my buns off this week, let's give this machine a workout, and I'll show you what I'm doing and explain what I'm doing while we're doing it. So, alright, let's go over the basic steps of this thing. By no means am I a shotgun shell reloading expert. I know just enough to make me dangerous. I'm going to be reloading number 8s, and number 8s are pretty significant to me. I love using number 8s when it comes to hunting, squirrel and grouse. Oddly enough, grouse. A lot of guys go a lot bigger than that, but for whatever reason, number 8s are my size. I can just clobber about anything with number 8s, and use it for rabbits. So yeah, let's go over this thing, and we'll talk about this mech reloader and show you how it operates. And if nothing else, it might get your creative juices flowing, and maybe you want to consider maybe picking one up yourself. All the research I've done, there isn't a whole heck of a lot of money that you can save by reloading anymore. The prices are pretty competitive on the market, but it's fun to play around with, and it's a good hobby to have, and there's a little bit of joy and satisfaction that comes in making your own ammunition. And let's look at how the world is going nowadays. A year ago it wasn't uncommon where you couldn't pick up a box of 22 shells. So you never know, maybe those times come back, and maybe it spreads off into shotgun shells or rifle ammunition. So I thought it'd be probably a smart investment to pick one up. And when it came to the bartering, I thought, you don't get any smarter than this. So alright, let's take a look at it, and I'll explain what I'm doing. Okay, let's load some shells. The hull that I like to use are Winchester AA's, and they seem to be the most durable hull. You can easily get 2-3 reloads out of them. Sometimes I even push it and get 4 or 5 reloads. First station of the shell reloader is the one that's going to be, I like to call it the primer knockout station. I don't know if they have any fancy names, but I'm just a redneck, and these names are the names that I use, so here it goes. You can see it's a spent primer. There's a hole punched in the middle that tells me that primer's no good, so we got to expel that and get rid of that first. So the first station pushes that primer out. You can see the primer fell down right here, and now when you look, let's see if we can get that close enough. Maybe it won't work that way, but if you look at the end, the primer's gone. And so what that station does is not only does it knock out the primer, but it resizes this brass. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. There's kind of a glare on there, but there's little lines that go straight up and down. This housing here crimps that brass down to the right size so that this shell can easily go in and out of the action of your gun, and it also kind of opens up the end of the hull so that the rest of the procedures can take place. Station number 2, down inside this little hole here, I'm going to move the camera so you can see that little silver thing right there. That's the new primer. The new primer is put inside that station when you run a shell through the last station, number 5. But I was using this earlier, so I already have a new one in there. I'll bring to your attention when the new one drops in there, because it's kind of a neat procedure or thing that happens. So we got the old primer out. Let's crimp it, get the new primer in. New primer is in, and it's seated nice and flush. There's no ridge or anything like that there. It's put in as good as the factory installation is. So the first thing we're going to do is you got to put gunpowder in after the primer's in. So we pull the handle down, slide the bar over so that my gunpowder that's in the first canister can fall through this tube all the way down, and it goes inside the shell. So right now that shell is full of gunpowder, and it's ready for the next stage. Take a wad. The wad goes over the end here. I've got this kind of pulled up because I'm trying to show the camera. You put it in the wad guide, pull down, and once the wad is seated all the way at the bottom of the shell, we slide the bar back over, and all the shot drops down this tube, fills up the hull of the bullet, and there you go. I don't know if you can see, but there's a whole bunch of lead shot that's inside that shell right now. Now I'm going to switch you over to the other side, and I'll show you what the fourth and fifth station of this reloader does. Here we are now, going up to the fourth station. Put the shell inside the bracket, pull the handle down, and this is the pre-crimp. If you notice, the top here is all kind of beveled down already and ready to go. And then we move it in the fourth or the fifth and final position. This is the position I think is the coolest, because when we pull the handle down, right there I feel a little bit of resistance, and you can kind of feel a click, and I don't know if you could hear, but there was a tick that took place, or a little rattle noise. What that is remember earlier on station number 2 when we were talking about the primer? Check this out. When we lift this up, inside this hole right here, oops, right there, what is that? It's a new primer that was automatically dropped down from the primer tray down this tube, and it goes boom right into the hole for the next shell. We'll take this shotgun shell off and show you what's going on. And right there, look at that, the end is crimped and it's nice and recessed in there. We got a shell that's ready to be fired. This is live, ready to go, and it's as simple as that. Well, there you have it. We've got a whole new box of shells. I'd like to give a special shout out to Nick the Animal Steel. He's very good at spending these shells. I think the last time I was down here in a bunker, I had about 10 boxes of shells, and he and his friends like to go out and expend them on some clay targets. And I appreciate all the help he gives me, and I don't mind trading them these shells for his labor and for all the work he helps me out with. I think I get the better end of the deal. So, hope you enjoyed this video. You know, I get a lot of happiness from being in the outdoors, and this is all part of the outdoor world and outdoor living. I'd like to thank you all for joining me this week on Carl's Off the Grid, especially the new subscribers and those subscribers who have been with me for a long time. I appreciate all the help that you give me and the support that you give me. For those of you that are watching for the first time, welcome. We like having you with us. Please click subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and if you could, give me a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this. I'd be happy to bring them to you. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time on Carl's Off the Grid.